Welcome to Oscar Sunday. I'm Austin Johnson.
I'm Connor Zagari.
And today we will be talking about Francois Truffaut's Day for Night from 1973. Very, very good film. Both our first time watching it, and we're very excited to break the film down, break down a little bit of Francois Truffaut's career, maybe talk about Jean-Luc Godard for a minute. We'll see what we get into. Day for Night was it won best foreign language film at the 46th Academy Awards, and then because the Oscars are weird as shit, it was nominated again the following year at the 47th Academy Awards for Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Actress in a Supporting Role. So this is kind of a heavy hitter when it comes to foreign language films and the Oscars. It is a must-see for cinephiles. I know we've both kind of had it in the back of our minds for a very long time, and it seemed like it was finally a good place to bring it up here. So what are your general thoughts on Day for Night?
Well, I'm not going to lie. For quite some time, I was kind of dreading this episode. I was like, oh God, I'm going back to the French New Wave. Not my speed, not my cup. So I was like, all right, I'll deal with this. And then I watched the 400 Blows for prep. I was like, okay, Truffaut's got something to say. He's not the pretentious fuck that Godard is. He's actually trying to make a story. He's trying to relate to the audience. He's trying to make something we can all kind of figure out. I liked that a lot. So after that, I was like, all right, Day for Night is probably going to be something. And I was right. It was something. It's a movie about filmmaking, which I thought was quite brilliant. We get to see Truffaut at work in a way and dealing with all these kind of personal and professional fires he keeps having to put out on this set. And it's a film you get drawn into. The characters are vibrant. The score is great. The story is so French. I mean, it's just everyone's fucking everybody else.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but you can't look away. It's weird. Truffaut's a filmmaker I'm going to be paying attention to.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about 400 Blows just for a minute, just because we both watched that first, like you said, as prep for this episode, just to get some more Truffaut under the belt. This is, I'll go ahead and say it, this is like one of the top 5 directorial debuts I've ever seen in my life, the 400 Blows. It is, I mean, it's up there with, like personal favorites like Reservoir Dogs for Quentin Tarantino. It's up there with Blood Simple for the Coen brothers. It's just rock solid right away. And it's the kind of film that you have these expectations because of the time it comes out, 1959. From what I've read, from what I've learned over the past week or so, French New Wave, people want to think it lasted for like a decade. Really, according to film historians and scholars, they say, no, really it was much shorter. It was a much shorter window when the French New Wave really existed and was thriving and people were on the same page. And it's somewhere 1958 to 1963 is more what these people have gathered after doing their research. And the 400 Blows is one of those ones that, quite frankly, like just blows everything open. And it combines experimentation and new kinds of editing. And I mean, that last shot of Antoine where it freezes, this is stuff that had never been seen before in cinema, and like little touches, but it also has this incredibly easy to follow, very relatable story about growing up, about feeling uncared for, feeling unloved, feeling lost in your place in society. And so you just do things. And as as the film went along, I kept kind of smiling like, wow, I'm watching a masterpiece here. I love the 400 Blows. So it was very easy for me to turn on Day for Night for the first time and be ready and excited to watch it. It's on Criterion Channel right now, as is a lot of Truffaut's work. A lot of his work is also on HBO Max. I know most people have HBO Max. That's where the 400 Blows is. That's where a lot of his work kind of lies and can be seen. I bought it because I heard great things about it. I bought it on Criterion like maybe a year ago. And I just had it on my shelf, and I was waiting to do it here on this show. And I'm very excited to talk about it because I loved it. I also couldn't take my eyes off of it. It is, like you said, a film about films, about filmmaking. It reminds you of films like Contempt, Jean-Luc Godard, and 8.5 by Federico Fellini, where everything takes place on the set and in the process of making the film. And for Day for Night is easily the most enjoyable one of those, easily the most entertaining one of those, the funniest. And there's something to say about that. I don't know if it's my favorite film about filmmaking, but it's up there. It's right up there. It reminded me so much of something like Boogie Nights, where everything's just clicking and happening, and you can't. It's a little bit dirty. It's a little bit crude, and you can't take your eyes away because all the dialogue, all the characters are so good. And this movie's awesome. I'm really excited to talk about it, man. It's gonna be cool. It creates. It's one of those open door kind of films where once you see it, you're either going to close that door and say "fuck it, I'm good," or the door's open now, and your mind is now going to go to a million different places, whether that be Truffaut's work or other directors from the French New Wave, or reading about Francois Truffaut and Jean-Luc Godard's friendship to rivalry to them just not speaking to one another. All of those things happen because of Day for Night. Jean-Luc Godard, when he saw it premiere, he walked out of the screening in disgust because he was like, "This is not how films are made. This is not the way it is." And and Truffaut's a liar. It's crazy, This would be like Tarantino and Paul Thomas Anderson just all of a sudden being like, "Fuck you," and sending letters back and forth to one another and just despising each other's work. That would be incredible, right? That would be crazy. And I'm endlessly fascinated by all things that surround Day for Night, and I feel I'm always excited to do this show, but there's extra incentive here. This is really important. I think most of the films we've covered are must see and are important films, but this is kind of in a different place.
Fucking arrogance of Godard to be like,
yeah,
that's not how you make a movie. God damn it. Like, to say that to a friend, be like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're doing it wrong. See, shit like that is why I don't like him. It's why I don't like filmmakers like that. I find their work contemptible. I find it pretentious. I find it hard to get into. And then when they speak, they sound like, gods atop a mountain telling mankind they can't have fire. It's insulting. But Truffaut bridged that gap. He's a filmmaker who embraces the same style as these guys, but with his feet on the ground. And I like that. I can relate to these films. I can relate to being a kid and feeling at times that no one's listening to me. No one cares what I think. I can relate to that. I can relate to, falling in love and then losing that love and then kind of just like doing whatever the hell I can to try to get that back. It's relatable shit. And I appreciated that. Like you said, I had this door closed for so long, and now, you know what? It's cracked open a bit. And I never thought that was possible. So good pick.
Yeah. Lucky pick, honestly, because I had no idea. I had no idea what we were exactly getting into here. And I was up so late last night just reading and watching Criterion. God bless, has all these amazing tidbits about Truffaut and Godard and these pillars of the new wave, that were just completely bored and tired of Hollywood and what they were doing over and over and over. And they were like, well, let's fucking change the game. Whether that's, something people are a fan of or not, it's admirable because change is inevitable, and it's necessary at times, and especially with art. And I see, especially with Truffaut, especially with the 400 Blows, I see my favorite filmmakers in that movie. I see, and with Day for Night, I see Truffaut shouting out his favorite filmmakers. Some of them filmmakers that we've talked about on this show. Very, very, very cool to kind of be a part of that world. It really is a movie for movie lovers. Day for Night. Let's talk about 400 Blows more at length here. Let's give that movie some respect and kind of talk about why we loved it so much, because Truffaut himself is nominated 3 times by the Academy, and the 400 Blows would be the one that kind of opened that door for him. In 1959, he was nominated for Best Screenplay, Best Original Screenplay, and then he was nominated for Day for Night Screenplay and Best Director. So, and of course, it won Best Foreign Language Film. But himself, he's got the 3 nominations. He passed away in his 50s. You just wonder what else would have happened. You know, had he been able to stay with us? He died in the 80s. He made films all the way up until then. So 400 Blows. I mean, this is easily one of the best 50s movies I've ever seen. And then it goes past that where I'm like, oh my God, this is just straight up legendary stuff. Like I almost gave it a 10 out of 10 right out the gate. It's a solid 9 for me. I also didn't know until after watching it and doing some research about it that it's the first of 5 films involving Antoine, the main character. And so I went ahead and watched the second one as well, which is a 30-minute short called Antoine and Colette from 1962. Really good. It's just 30 minutes, really easy. It's on Criterion right now. And I'm going to continue that. I'm going to go ahead and I guess we'll call it a franchise. I don't fucking know. The Antoine, franchise. I'm going to keep watching it because this guy, Jean-Pierre, I don't know how to say his last name. Léaud, I guess. I'm not really.
Léaud, sure. I think maybe.
Léaud. Yeah. He's in a ton of Truffaut movies. And of course, he's in all 5 of these movies that involve the character of Antoine. And he's so goddamn good. In 400 Blows, I was like, this is one of the best child performances I've ever seen.
It's remarkable. It's especially the scenes towards the end when he's in therapy, which blew me away, especially when I found out they were largely improvised by this kid.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's talent, raw talent that Truffaut was able to kind of, mold. Yeah, I loved the scenes with him and his friend just kind of doing shit on the streets, skipping school, and everything just biting him in the ass. Every adult he came into contact with was a piece of shit with an agenda who hated him for no real reason beyond he's kind of annoying. Like, he's a kid. He's like 8 years old. 8-year-old kids are all annoying. You got to know how to deal with them, how to talk to them. And I felt bad for the kid. Like, his mom saying like he's irritating. Like, I don't like him. What the fuck is that? You don't say that about your kid. God. But through this, you're engaged because you want to know, you kind of want things to work out for this kid. You want him to find something worthwhile in life, anything. And yeah, I want to check out the rest of these films. I want to see if he finds something. Honestly, I want Anton to be okay.
Yeah, me too. And Antoine and Colette, man, is tough. It's tough. It's a part of an anthology called Love at 20, where 5 different directors directed a short. It's about 2 hours. You can piece those together by finding each short or whatever. I haven't been able to see a version of it, at least that's accessible, where you can watch them all in unison. But Truffaut is, of course, one of those, and his is called Antoine Colette. And it's about him. He's back in France, and he's working at a record store, which is really cool because he's like printing, making actual records, and he goes to this like music center all the time on the weekends to go see these different shows and whatnot, which is really cool because I just feel like a lot of relatability to Antoine and him just kind of like just fucking around and finding his way. And it was cool to see his obsession with music. And then he sees this girl that he's like really obsessed with, and he falls in love with her, and she's like, nah, I'm not quite into it. But he keeps trying, it's wild. And her parents love him, but he can't quite win the heart of the girl that he's actually trying to chase. It's really good for a 30-minute short. It's really good. Connor, I think he'd love it. The third one is Stolen Kisses. And then there's the fourth one, Bed and Board. And then the fifth one, finally, Love on the Run. Yeah, I started Stolen Kisses last night. I was like, I need to go to bed though. It's time for me to fucking stop, because I was up till like 4 a.m. just fucking inhaling as much Truffaut and Godard and new wave shit that I possibly could. And so I'm going to probably finish Stolen Kisses after we stop recording. I was super into it to start, and then I can't wait to watch Bed and Board and Love on the Run. 400 Blows. It's no surprise that people like Akira Kurosawa, Luis Buñuel, Richard Lester, Richard Linklater, Wes Anderson, Norman Jewison, even fucking Nicolas Cage have cited this movie as one of their favorite movies in existence. It just makes sense. You know, it's this extremely inspirational and beautiful movie. And Kurosawa, he calls it one of the most beautiful movies that I've ever seen in my life. You know, and this is Akira Kurosawa is, you know, he's fucking Akira Kurosawa. Martin Scorsese included it in a list of 39 essential foreign films that a young filmmaker must see. Wow, high praise. The film was ranked number 29 in Empire Magazine's list of 100 best films of world cinema. That was back in 2010. In 2018, the film was voted the 8th greatest foreign film language of all time in BBC's poll of 209 critics over 43 countries. This movie's important to a lot of people, and now it's important to us.
Doesn't that feels good? I know I've equated on this show in the past, discovering these films is like putting another piece into this constantly growing puzzle. And I feel like we added a giant piece with this film, both these films.
Yeah.
It's cleared up some stuff. It's made me kind of think about a lot of other filmmakers in different contexts. And I mean, that's just the best. When you can watch a film that kind of reshapes the way you think about other films, that is significant.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge, especially I realize there's probably people out there who are like, well, no shit, you know, you're just now getting to it. Well, you know, been watching a lot of other stuff, you know,
yeah.
and it's for me and the people that I care about, as far as the, you know, my friends that are really into film, it's just never too late to watch something and be just captivated by it. And I'm glad I'm here rather than later, of course, but I think it hit me at the right time. You know, I think if I would have seen this at a certain age, I probably wouldn't have gotten it, or I wouldn't have appreciated it enough. I definitely had to get more foreign language films under my belt to just kind of, you know, get over that American way of being like, no, I don't want to read subtitles. No, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this extra work to watch a movie. Now, at this point in my life, then none of that matters to me. You know, a film is a film and it can be taken as is, and you're either going to love it, like it, not like it, whatever. You're going to have an opinion. And with the 400 Blows, I think I found it, for me personally, at the right time.
Yeah, you know, better late than never. And I mean, like you said, we got a lot of shit to watch. You know, I had to watch Showgirls earlier this week. Give me a break.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm way behind on 2021 releases. There's so many I haven't seen, and I'm gonna have to fucking buckle down at some point and watch all those before March 27th, before the Oscars, because I want to see all those that are nominated and stuff. I've just been busy with my own shit. Just been trying to watch my own things and have fun, you know. Sue me. I watched the first 4 Screams before new Scream came out. You know, fuck it. You know, there's just always things I want to do, always things I want to watch, and you know me, I'm a big sports guy, so I'm always constantly battling between, do I want to watch this film, or do I want to watch this basketball game or this soccer match? I'm always having that battle in my head. Films usually win. But man, I love unscripted fucking live sports.
Well, this puzzle is never gonna finish I'm never gonna finish building this puzzle. This is a constant thing in my life. It's a constant process. Every film I watch enhances my thoughts on film itself and gives me a little more to talk about at all times. So whatever the film is, I find value in it. Like Truffaut is just as important to me as Wes Craven. Like it's all, you know, part of the same story.
Yeah, the story of cinema, you know, and it's fun to find those ones that just fucking stick out to you. So cool. I'm wicked excited. I feel like we found a filmmaker, and you know, it's not like he's being discovered or anything, but for you and I, in our world and our journey of watching movies, we are discovering him. We are finding his work finally and seeing it for ourselves. And so if you had to say which one got you more amped to watch his work, would it be 400 Blows or Day for Night?
It's definitely 400 Blows. I liked Day for Night. There were some moments of Uh, moments that dragged a little bit.
Yeah.
In the middle, 400 Blows, I was engaged pretty much the entire time. But Day for Night had a lot of great moments. And so there's value in that too.
Yeah, I agree. And I think my favorite thing about Truffaut so far is his pace, is this pace that I feel used to. And because the reason I'm used to it is because a lot of filmmakers I like are clearly influenced by him and by his work. And then in turn, inspired by, Agnes Varda and Jean Renoir and, Orson Welles and so on and so forth. These guys that have this understanding of, you don't have to treat your audience like an idiot, but you also don't need to treat them like they're aliens. You have to, there's like a middle ground of some sort where you don't have to spell everything out, but you need to tell a real story.
Exactly. And I was so grateful for that. A story, an actual like narrative I can enjoy and follow here. Thank you. That's 90% of what I look for. So.
Okay. So yeah, let's talk about that. So obviously his counterpart at this point in time in history is Jean-Luc Godard. Godard was, again, very experimental, very, very, I'll say very, very prolific, came out with so many movies, much more prolific than Truffaut was. And Godard is still kicking it. He's like 90 years old. He's still alive and has made movies and shorts in the 2010s. He just can't stop himself from making movies. And I have a lot of respect for that. I've only seen 5 of his movies. It took signing up for the Criterion Channel to finally kind of take that dive. So about little under 2 years ago, I watched Breathless and Contempt and Vivre sa vie and Le Petit Soldat and A Woman is a Woman. Those 5 were the ones I watched, and I haven't gone back. So there's something about that where I'm like, okay, I got my fill, I guess, but I do want to go back now after kind of reading about these guys and their kind of rivalry. I watched a really cool interview with Dudley Andrew, a film historian. It's from 2015. It's about 20 minutes. It's on Criterion. It's fascinating because this guy knows everything there is, that you need to know about the French New Wave. And he has a uncanny ability to just spell it all out for you without making you feel stupid, and he didn't really side with either of them. He kind of has a respect for both of them and thinks that their differences are really cool. But the way he kind of put it was, Godard is, again, the experimental one, the one who kind of wants to push the form, the medium of filmmaking as far as it can go. And Truffaut was the one who wanted to really relate to you and really wanted to kind of get under your skin and make you really feel something. Godard was more of like a political filmmaker, and Truffaut was like, I want to give you personable stories. And that's really cool. I thought he put it really well. I thought it was really respectful the way he did it. And then he talked about the letters that they sent back and forth after Godard left, walked out of the screening of Day for Night. And, they were not kind to one another. These are guys that were friends for decades. And they used to go see films together in the late 40s and in the 50s. They used to go hang out like you and I do. Like, let's go see a film together. This is what they did. And then after that, it just stopped because Godard sends him this long letter about, this is not how people make films. Day for Night is a lie. He's calling him out. He's calling out Truffaut out for casting certain people in Day for Night, saying you only casted them because you wanted to sleep with them. And while a lot of people believe that to be true, that Truffaut kind of had a pretty easy time with the ladies, like not a lot of women said no to him. It might be true, but there's just no reason to attack someone like this, to attack someone. And he's like, I hate that people are going to see this movie and think that that's how we all make films. He specifically stated that Jacqueline Bisset, who plays the English, she's the English actress in the movie Day for Night. He was like, you only cast her because you wanted to sleep with her and you're acting like you're holier than thou. And Truffaut comes right back at him tenfold and is like, you're a pretentious shit. You're the one who cast people because you just want to sleep with them. So they just start fucking fighting like 2 little kids, And these letters, I I'm pretty sure our fellow Filmgasm contributor Josh knows about these and has read these because I know he's into these kind of filmmakers, right? And these guys who threw all the rules out the window and started making their own kind of films. So I'd love to talk to him about those. I know he's not going to come on Oscar Sunday, but I would love to talk to him about those and kind of see what he thinks about it because it's fascinating. It would be like Tarantino and PTA or Spike Lee and Tarantino just being like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You know, they're just going back and forth with letters. A lot of people compare it to John Lennon and Paul McCartney, where these two guys who worked together and then kind of hated each other. And then really ultimately were like, no, I just don't get along with you. I don't want to speak to you. And it's sad. It's fucking sad, you know, that like ego and art gets in the way.
Yeah. Reminds me of, I'm going to pull out some old school history shit right now. Reminds me very much of the feud between Thomas Jefferson and John Adams in the 1800s, early 1800s. They were good friends in the Revolution, respected one another, wrote constant letters to one another being like, oh, I really appreciate your thoughts on this philosopher. No, John, you are the true, like they appreciated each other's intellects. And then they ran for president against each other and shit got dirty fast. Like it became a smear campaign unlike this country had ever seen. And they were calling out each other being like, you know, you're sleeping with your slaves and you are a short, fat little sad man. Like it got really childish.
Yeah.
And to the point where like their letters became vicious of like, how could I ever call myself your friend? And how could I ever call myself your friend? And that turned into that. And then even on their deathbed, they died on the same day. And John Adams' last words were, Thomas Jefferson lives. So like, I love seeing how a friendship can turn into garbage, but like just based on almost ego, like being the exclusive cause. And that feels very much what happened here with Godard and Truffaut. Both men were very proud of their films, proud of their work. I think they both considered themselves to be major players in this new movement and wanted to be kind of the face of it. And it was up to kind of the public to decide whose work has more value. And Godard I don't think he could handle that. I don't think he could handle the fact that people were going to decide his legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because as we've learned in his letters, he could give a fuck about what people thought.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. 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 Oh my God. So fascinating. I think you can look at, that's a great example, Jefferson and Adams. It's like if you get close enough with somebody, you're going to learn a lot about them. Especially if you work with someone and you have these kind of creative juices flowing with one another, you're going to learn a lot about them. And if it ever goes sour, then you both have all this ammo because you've learned to dislike the flaws that both people have, right? You've learned to say like it would be like if me and my brother were like, all of a sudden you did something that bothered me, so I'm going to call you out for all these things you did in our childhood, you know? And I'm going to call you out. I'm going to call you out for being a little whiny bitch when you were 5, you know, like it's just crazy. It's bonkers. It reminds me a lot of right now. This just is, it has happened many times in history and it's going to continue to happen. You can look at Jefferson and Adams, Truffaut and Godard, Paul McCartney and John Lennon, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, these guys who won 6 championships together in the 1990s with the Chicago Bulls. After The Last Dance came out, Scottie Pippen was like, fuck you, dude. Like, fuck you, Michael Jordan. You put yourself on a pedestal saying that you did all this basically by yourself when the rest of your team was right there behind you the whole way. When in fact, Scottie Pippen is like, dude, you retired in the middle of us winning. You retired in your 30s so that you could go play baseball and you left us out to dry. And then you came back and we won more championships and you act like you're the only reason we won those. Scottie Pippen even came out with a book earlier last year. He came out with a book where he explains his side of the story because he's like, The Last Dance lied. It lied to you. I'm going to tell you what I think. And, people are going to usually side with the guy who is quote unquote better at the sport, which is Jordan. But there are people out there who are like, wait a minute, Pippen has something to say here. I'm gonna hear him out. And now they hate each other. Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. They eventually got around to being friends again towards the end of Kobe Bryant's career, which thank God, because he's not with us anymore. But they hated each other. So much so that Shaq was like, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of Los Angeles. It happens in every facet of life, whether it be politicians, musicians, filmmakers, athletes, friends, family. It's just this fascinating thing. And I was blown away by it because it happens to be two filmmakers who are looked at as titans.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think of like a celebrity kind of beef that's going on right now. And I don't want to compare these guys to Truffaut and Godard because they're not even in the same fucking ballpark when it comes to making films. But the only thing I can think of is Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel right now.
Yeah, no, that's valid. Those two guys are pretty much everyone, especially in the English speaking part of the world and even worldwide, like they know who they are,
Yeah. Well, and what happened there was pride and ego. And Vin Diesel, thinking this superstar is usurping my franchise. He's become the face. I don't like that. So he started treating him like shit. He pushed Dwayne Johnson away. Dwayne left the franchise, and now it's not making the kind of money it used to make. So, and like, Vin trying to use Paul Walker's death and like his kids to try to lure Dwayne Johnson back, and him being like, what the fuck, man, you don't do that. And yeah, it's just some people can't help but air their dirty laundry in public, especially celebrities. And apparently it's always been that way since the fucking 1700s.
Yeah. And who knows, there's got to be other stuff, beyond, it's just really, really interesting when two people work together, love each other's, creative minds. And then all of a sudden it breaks at some point and then they start pointing fingers, it's good God, really sad. That we'll leave it at that for Godard and Truffaut. I would love to do a Godard movie at some point. We can't really do any of his movies on Oscar Sunday because the guy, he doesn't have any nominations. He got an honorary award like 10 years ago. But that's it. None of his actual work, he didn't get best director or best screenplay or this or that. So I don't really know how we'll bring him up, but one day we should, just to kind of keep this conversation going because it's fascinating.
Well, for the good of the conversation, we could throw a Godard film onto Filmgasm. I'm willing to do that.
You know what it should be? It should be Contempt. It's the film about filmmaking for Godard. And in comparison to Day for Night, it's completely different. It's more about producer, director, writer. They're those three guys having their relationship and working together, and the problems and issues they have versus this is everybody. Day for Night is the whole cast, the whole crew is right there in that hotel, and we kind of see everything, which I prefer.
And that right there tells me so much about who Godard is as a person, who he values on a film set. And that's some cold shit. Like Truffaut is like, this is a collaborative effort, and Godard is like, I make the movie. And that's fucked up.
Yeah. Godard over and over in his movies made it very clear that money is how these things work. There's a famous scene from it's going to escape me right now because there's so goddamn many of them. But there's a scene where it shows the producer signing checks like over and over and over for these different people that work on the film, and it's showing Godard's very much reminding you that yes, there is magic in this, but ultimately it's not magic, it's money. It's money that makes these things go and work. And it's such a fucking like sad and depressing way to kind of show it. While it may be true in a lot of senses, it's just sad. Whereas Truffaut was like, there is magic. There is magic. There is. Day for Night, I think he's plainly saying it by the character of Alphonse is saying, women are magic, right? Women are magic. I think he's using that as kind of a, kind of a substitute for saying like, this is magic. What we're doing is magic. This art form is magical. And like Truffaut clearly believes in that.
Yeah, Truffaut's the Wizard of Oz, and Godard is the asshole behind the curtain. He doesn't believe in it, but he's still trying to pull people's like. It just bothers me. Like, we all know this shit is financed. We all know it costs millions of dollars. We all know nothing happens without the checks. We know that. But goddamn, let us have the illusion. Just let us let us think this is, these are made in magical caves with camera, fairies with cameras. Just let us have that. Why you got to take that away, Jean-Luc? Why you got to do that?
Yeah, he is. He's trying to rob you of like an innocent experience. And that's like, for me personally, I mean, I don't know. It's so cynical and a little bit admirable, but I don't really want to like share that experience with anyone. That's just kind of like, oh, okay, I get it. It's sad, it's dark, and you have to like pay a lot of people off just to get things done. But I don't know.
It reminds me so much of right now the on Disney Plus, the Book of Boba Fett is ongoing, and a lot of people are just randomly upset, but a lot of other people are enjoying it. And I feel like Godard is that guy who's watching you watch Boba Fett, notices you're enjoying it, and suddenly starts saying like, they ruined his character. He's supposed to be evil. Stop enjoying this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like that guy who's like watching all of the superhero movies, and he's like, that's not how it was done in the comics. No, they didn't do that. Yeah, no, Bane didn't look that way. You complain about every little fucking thing when it comes to superhero movies. Is those like comic nerds? It's like, who gives a shit? Shut the fuck up. If the movie is entertaining and good, leave it.
Yeah, Godard's, that's not how you make a movie. This is how you make a movie. You're not watching real art. That's not real art. This is real art. Like, I feel like I could go have a beer with Truffaut, hear some cool stories. I don't think I'd last through 1 minute of conversation with Godard without wanting to punch him in the face.
I would just want to steal his glasses. I'd be like, give me those fucking glasses, you prick. Yeah. Again, enough Godard. This is great though. I'm having a blast. If you were, before we get heavy into Day for Night, and we start looking at some Academy Awards stuff, what's the Truffaut movie that you're now like is on your list to watch next?
To be fair, haven't looked through them that yet, but let's go ahead and do that. Let's see what of Truffaut's career looks most appetizing. It's a good question.
Do you feel?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you feel it's necessary to continue the 400 Blows experience?
I think that's where I'm going to go. I was just going to say that. I think I'd want to know how Antoine's life works out. I feel invested in that. That seems like the next logical step. But beyond that, I haven't really, I don't know anything about the rest of his films. I think it would just have to be kind of an ongoing exploratory process. I did recognize, I remembered his cameo at the end of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Yes. I thought that was funny. Like, that's how I knew him before we did this.
Yeah, definitely want to rewatch that just to kind of like, oh my God, there he is again. I think on my list, I want to continue the Antoine experience and, like you said, figure out what happens with him. But I really want to see the one I keep reading about is 1962's Jules and Jim. It covers decades of a love triangle concerning two friends and an impulsive woman. So that just sounds, like, okay, sign me up. That seems perfect. Hour and 45 minutes. Probably going to have a great pace to it. I'm totally in. That's on my radar.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, weirdly, I know more Godard films than I do Truffaut, and I have no intention of watching Godard's films. It's just
let's change that. Yeah,
it's like a hate fuck. It's like I just like I hate him so much I can't help but memorize all of his work.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like more about him than your actual heroes. You know the enemy. That's great
for sure. But yeah, as of now, I would pursue the sequels to the 400 Blows.
Yeah, that's a good way to go, man. And again, check out Criterion for some of that noise. They got all kinds of stuff concerning Truffaut, and it's just wonderful. So, for these categories and for these awards, I want to go ahead and get the best foreign language film out of the way. It's from the 46th Academy Awards. Day for Night gets the win, representing France. And again, I'm not gonna know these titles very well. I'm not gonna be able to pronounce them. The House of Chelouche Street from Israel was nominated. L'Invitation, Switzerland was nominated. The Pedestrian from Germany, West Germany, was nominated. And Turkish Delight from the Netherlands was nominated. So I haven't seen any of those, but Day for Night. But once I read something, it's usually somewhere in my brain.
I find it very intriguing that there's a film from West Germany up for the Oscar here. You forget that was not that long ago. Wild.
Yeah, this is 1974. This ceremony is 1974. This is the ceremony where The Sting wins Best Picture. The Sting won fucking 7 awards. It beat American Graffiti, Cries and Whispers, The Exorcist, and A Touch of Class. Really, really, really good year for the Oscars. A lot of the 70s years are, so very cool. But again, Day for Night only competed in that category and won. And then the following Academy Awards, the 47th, this is the one we're going to really look at. It was up for three different awards: best screenplay, best director, and best actress in a supporting role. Where do you want to start?
Real quick, I do want to just point out on the foreign language film category on the 46 Oscars, The Pedestrian from West Germany is directed by Maximilian Schell.
Yes.
And it's about the trial of a elderly war criminal. So I am very intrigued by that.
Yes, of course. Maximilian is one of our favorite performers in Judgment at Nuremberg, 1961. So yeah.
So with that, I think we should start at screenplay.
Okay. Best original screenplay.
Yeah.
Oh boy. We got a group here.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Here we go, man. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be cool because we have covered the winner of this category and long time ago, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time, but there's going to be something to be said here. Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. Robert Getchell was nominated. The Conversation by Francis Ford Coppola was nominated. Day for Night, Francois Truffaut, Suzanne Schiffman, and Jean-Louis Richard. Harry and Tonto by Paul Mazursky and Josh Greenfeld. And the winner, Robert Towns' incredible screenplay for Chinatown. So now that we've done a little bit more homework, how do you feel about this group?
I'm going to have to watch Harry and Tonto. But to me, there is no contest at all. This was Chinatown's win. Still well-deserved. The screenplay to that film is rock solid. I have nothing's changed for me.
Yeah, and you know what's really sucks about this ceremony in Chinatown? It's the only win it got.
Yeah.
Chinatown wins nothing else at this ceremony, and it is its best attribute. Of course, Jack Nicholson is fucking great. Faye Dunaway is fucking incredible as well. But the screenplay is, like you said, it's kind of in a class of its own. Incredible that it's not. It's weird to me that it's an original screenplay. You feel like Chinatown should totally be this classic novel that got adapted, but no, it's this incredible screenplay. I think I'm with you. I haven't seen Harry and Tonto, but of the other 4, I think I'd say Day for Night would get second place.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Day for Night gets second place. Then for me,
and then
go ahead.
This is tough. The third and fourth, The Conversation and Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. I don't really know. I think I'd probably go Conversation.
I would go Alice.
That's fair. I don't think there's any wrong answer there. Those two. This is a good group.
Yeah.
And who knows? Who knows? Maybe Harry and Tonto would rattle our cages.
I mean, he did. Art Carney won Best Actor over 4 of the greatest actors to ever pick up the craft. So it better be amazing.
Yeah, that group is Art Carney, like you said, for the win. Beat Albert Finney, Dustin Hoffman, Jack Nicholson, and Al Pacino. Just
not just Jack Nicholson and Al Pacino, Jack in Chinatown and Al as Michael Corleone in The Godfather 2.
and Pacino winning for Scent of a Woman is great, but it's like, wait a minute. How does he not win for Michael Corleone in Godfather Part 2? He's putting on a fucking show. But you could say the same thing about Jack. I think Lenny is extremely underrated and an awesome movie, and Dustin is scary good in it. And Albert Finney, probably my least favorite role of those 4, but still very, very good.
Murder on the Orient Express. I think it's so entertaining. It's got such an all-star cast of incredible character actors, and it's a great whodunit, especially if you don't know the ending. It's very much a great detective story. And I think Finney's great in that.
Yeah, love Albert Finney. Yeah, man, this is cool. It's cool to always add another piece to the puzzle of a ceremony with Day for Night. Let's see. Best supporting actress. Let's move to that one next and finish with director. What do you think?
Oh, sounds great.
Okay, so we've now seen all of these, all 5 of these films that are represented. We have the winner, Ingrid Bergman, absolute legend for her role in Murder on the Orient Express. We have Valentina Cortez for Day for Night. She's incredible. Madeline Kahn for Blazing Saddles. Diane Ladd for Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. And Talia Shire for The Godfather Part 2. Great group.
I'm so glad I've seen all 5 of these films. It feels good. All right. Ingrid is good in Murder on the Orient Express. I don't think it's her best work. I'm a little surprised at the win for that one. Honestly, I want to give this to Madeline Kahn.
Okay. Interesting. Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles is a film that's kind of like people have started to sweep it under the rug these days because of how mind-numbingly offensive it is. I get that. If it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. But I think what Brooks was trying to accomplish, he pulled off. I think it's a hilarious satire that just condemns racism, shows off how fucking stupid it is. And Madeline Kahn's performance as Lily Von Shtupp is iconic as fuck. She is so funny. She holds her own against, Gene Wilder and Cleavon Little, and it's just perfect. I think she's fantastic. I've always loved Madeline Kahn. I think she's one of the funniest women who ever lived, and I would love if she took home an Oscar.
I love that. That's great. That's a very personal reasoning for Madeline Kahn. I would go for Valentina and Day for Night. I was blown away by her. There's a specific scene that I think should have won her this award, and it's towards the beginning of the film when she's pissed drunk and is trying to do this scene with Alexandra. It's just it's for people who love. This is one of those scenes where you can't help yourself but just smile and laugh and be in bewilderment of how good it is. But Diane Ladd is fucking awesome, and Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. Talia Shire, of course, a lot of Godfather Part 2 nominations, and she's wonderful as Connie. This is a good group, man. Really good group. And I think Ingrid is the most talented of these women. But I'm with you. I don't think it's her best work. And I think the Oscars were, they very much have their people they really, really like. And Ingrid Bergman, Meryl Streep, Katharine Hepburn, they really love those women, and they're gonna usually side with them if it comes down to it.
To me, the person who I think should have won this isn't even here.
Okay.
To me, if this was a perfect world, as we've often said, the winner of Best Supporting Actor is Diane Keaton for The Godfather 2.
Oh, yeah. Diane Keaton is lights out. That's a great call.
Yeah, I mean, she's great in Godfather 1, but Godfather 2, she has to carry the pain, the anger, and the frustration of being Michael Corleone's wife. She has that scene where she tells him, I got an abortion because I don't want to carry your child. Like, she does a lot of heavy lifting in Godfather 2. And I wish that she'd been recognized.
Yeah, I mean, you can give 3 nominations for supporting actor for the males for Godfather Part 2, but you can't throw Diane Keaton a bone. Come on.
Yeah, that happens a lot. I don't like that.
Yeah. And she's like you said, like one of the most important pieces to the film. So that's a good shout out. It's a really good group. The supporting actor group is incredible. Best actress, best actor. These are just all-time performers. And again, the 70s, you look at these ceremonies, and for me, and I think for a lot of people, if you really do the work and watch these films, when you go back, they just got it right more than any other decade.
Yeah, you're not wrong. The 70s just had it. These films are iconic. They live forever. Even nominees, like to see Young Frankenstein get a screenplay nomination, that's just amazing. It's fantastic.
Yeah, Young Frankenstein going against, Lenny and Murder on the Orient Express. Father, it's just really cool to see those things happening. It seems like we're never going to get back to a place where it feels this good, where movies, and that's a bigger conversation, where like these were the kind of films that were making a lot of money back then, the Godfathers and the Chinatowns, and that it's just different now. It's just different stuff that's that kind of drives the box office and drives the culture. So it's different era. 50 years ago now.
Well, I feel like I've noticed this in recent years. There's not every filmmaker's doing this, but a lot of them are. I feel like there's this inherent need to kind of prove something these days. Like, you have to justify why you're here as a filmmaker. And in the 70s, it was just people trying shit. It was just like, let's make this. Fuck what anyone thinks, but let's make this. And I wish we had that kind of grit, that kind of like confidence these days. I wish we had that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it was a product of so many things. Of course, in American filmmaking, it's the Hays Code is gone.
Yeah,
in the late 60s. So you have the influx of, like you said, experimentation. You have the influences of the French New Wave. You have the influences of foreign language films saying, fuck it, we're going to do it our way. And it bleeds over to American filmmakers because they're inspired. And they're inspired to do something different, do something wild. And I just think it's such a fascinating time for the medium. And this best director group is beyond me. This is one of my favorite groups I've ever laid my eyes upon. It's bonkers. We have Roman Polanski nominated for Chinatown. We have Francois Truffaut for Day for Night, Bob Fosse for Lenny, John Cassavetes for A Woman Under the Influence, and the winner, Francis Ford Coppola, for The Godfather Part 2. Woof. Jesus Christ.
Boy.
Let's go ahead and rank them. Fuck it.
Okay. Oh boy. All right. The films themselves. I don't want to give it to Polanski. I just don't, because of who he is. But Chinatown is so goddamn good. It's hard.
Yeah. That's yeah. If you're let's try to narrow it down. What would be your number 5? Who's 5th in this category? Cassavetes. Yeah. I figured he is for me too. He is for me too. I love that movie. I love Cassavetes. I love the performances in that movie. Jenna Rowlands is lights out in that film. It's a bit long, I'll admit. but it's very good. That's my number 5 as well. Number 4.
Probably Fosse for Lenny.
Oof. Yeah, same. Very tough. That's a 10 out of 10 movie for me. I love Lenny.
Lenny's great. I love how that film shines a light on one of the most ridiculous laws we've ever had, which are censorship laws. I don't know why the fuck that even exists, and how Lenny Bruce was just constantly taken to task for it, for just being himself or doing his own thing. And Fosse's direction is great. I've got no beef with that. It's just the rest of these films are game changers.
And yeah, and with Lenny, it's really cool if you see All That Jazz, because All That Jazz is loosely based on, Roy Scheider is playing a version of Bob Fosse, trying to put this musical together while also directing and editing fucking Lenny,
Yeah.
So it's a really cool kind of piece of cinematic history in that sense.
Yeah, very true. So that was my 4. What's your 4?
Bob Fosse.
Still Fosse. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we might be on the same page here. It's just, they're so good for me. They're all so good.
Yeah. I think we're on the same page so far. I think things are going to change here though.
Okay. Let's hear number 3.
My number 3 is Truffaut.
Same. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Day for Night is incredible. And I can't wait to watch it again. I'm so glad I own it.
Honestly, I think Truffaut could have taken a supporting actor nomination. I
Yeah.
thought he was really good.
Awesome. Yeah. I love the way they kind of just all have this strange respect for him, but they also are, he's their equal in this movie. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's great. I wish he wasn't dead. I would love to see an interview now of like Truffaut talking about his legacy. It's a damn shame.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Number 2. Oh, I feel like we've been here before debating, the coin flip of Chinatown and The Godfather 2. I remember doing this. We just talked about last week when we did the showdown. It's just as good as Cohen's versus PTA in 2007. Like this is why we do this show. This is why we do it. Yeah. I don't remember who I went with when we did Chinatown. I feel like I had the same confliction of, Polanski shouldn't get it just because of who he is as a human being, but Chinatown's amazing. I don't know who I went with. You said you remember what I picked?
I remember what I picked because it's always been the same for me.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say number 2, Polanski, Chinatown.
Yeah. And I'm reverse. My number 2 would be Francis Ford Coppola, and number 1 would be Polanski for Chinatown. It's just an absolute feat. Chinatown. It's calling to so many things and looking ahead to so many things. It's this middle ground movie that it's so revolutionary and so inspirational to so many people. And whatever you think about Polanski, I mean, yeah, he's a piece of shit, but Chinatown, what he does with Chinatown, what he accomplished is far beyond my imagination.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to argue with any of that. This is a hard decision to make. If we often do, we do our best to separate the men from their work. And as the guy sitting in the director's chair of Chinatown pulled off something incredible. Yeah. Coppola did the same with The Godfather 2. This sprawling, like 3.5 hour epic of the Corleone family from beginning to not end, but definitely the beginning of the end is so powerful and so engaging and holds up. And I hope I'm not contradicting myself from like a year ago, but I guess we'll find out.
I think this is what you did last time too. I think you had this similar kind of thought about it, and you were like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, like I said, it depends on the day. It's a coin toss. Maybe today I'm feeling Coppola. Maybe next week I'm feeling Polanski. Maybe I watch Lenny again and I'm like, God, Fosse really did kill it. It's all about what you're feeling on the day. And right now, Coppola earned it with The Godfather 2. And it's been a long time since I sat through that thing proper. It's a haul. It's your whole day, but it is quite a movie.
Yeah. Well, the last time I watched The Godfathers, at least part 1 and 2, was when we covered all of them on Filmgasm, like long time ago. And that was the last time I watched even a snippet of it. I love those movies. I think they're great. I think there's a slight, I think this can happen. I think maybe this might be the case with Chinatown too. I think there's a slight, I don't even want to use the word overrated, but there's something about it where people just praise it just because that's what people do. It's like, oh, oh, it's The Godfather. It's the greatest film of all time, you know, and they don't really know what they're talking about, or there's no nuance to their answer. It's just it's the greatest, and that's that, you know. And yeah, it's incredible. They're both wonderful, wonderful movies. And like you said, they're epic and they're long, and they keep you excited. They keep you on the edge of your seat the whole time. But there's something about it that just rubs me slightly the wrong way.
Fair enough. The first one, to me, flawless, untouchable, perfect movie. The second one, I do have problems with it. I think it doesn't need to be that long. I honestly think you could have taken the De Niro stuff out and made that Godfather 3.
I wish.
Yeah, I know. But I understand that Godfather 2 has kind of become like it's taken on a life of its own. And people kind of give it praise without actually sitting through the full 3.5 hours and understanding why this won all these Oscars, why this is considered an American classic. And it does have flaws. You know, I think that the whole Cuba thing does get a little confusing sometimes. I think failing to nominate John Cazale is one of the biggest mistakes the Oscars have ever made.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand that. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think I both have them both as like just nines, like 9 out of 10 movies. They're awesome. You know, they're great, and they belong in these categories. You know, the both Godfather movies. But Godfather, the first one from 1972, we will be covering that movie on this show at some point this year. It has to happen. It's hitting its 50th anniversary. Like, we have to do it. You know, there's no way around it. and then in 2014, 2024, we'll come back around and do Godfather Part 2 and talk about this group again. You know, which will be great because we'll have to rewatch them all.
Fucking love that we're making podcast plans for 2024.
Of course, I always I'm so grateful that through the 2020s we'll be able to cover these 1970s Best Picture groups over and over. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Because we did French Connection not that long ago, and I was like, this is wonderful to be able to do the 70s proper. I love it.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity. I'm glad we can do that. Just for kicks, I've got The Godfather 1 at a 10, Godfather 2 at an 8, and Godfather 3 at a 6.
It's 10, 8, 6. Big jumps in between. I've got 9, 5 or 6. I don't fucking know. I don't really care.
I have seen The Godfather 3 times. I immediately forget whatever the fuck it's about as soon as I'm done. It's impossible to retain that information.
Yeah. It's frustrating. That's for sure. Okay, my last question before we get to our awards for Day for Night and start talking about what we really, really love about that film. Okay. Should it be in the Best Picture group?
Oh, yeah. I think it should.
Over Towering Inferno? Conversation?
I would take out The Conversation. I really, really liked The Towering Inferno.
Yeah, that was epic. It's such a cool cast.
Yeah. It has no business being as engaging and intense as it ended up being. Like, that could have been a throwaway, weekend gig, but they turned it into something epic that is going to last forever, and I appreciate that.
Okay. I like that. So you take out The Conversation. I think I would take out Towering Inferno, but that's not. I mean, I love all those movies.
Oh, this is a flawless group. It's hard to pick an odd man out here.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, this is just an awesome year. The movie that I have like circled, that I've had circled for a long time, ever since I first saw Lebowski and fell in love with Jeff Bridges, is Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. I can't believe I haven't seen that yet.
I have heard really good things about that one. I remember watching Jeff Bridges talk about his career on those GQ actor spotlight videos. I fucking love those.
Yes.
He was talking about how he was so unsure of himself. And he told Clint Eastwood, like, who was his co-star, like, look, I don't know if I can do this. And Clint's like, no, you're the guy. Like, you are this character. So be the character. Like, you're not playing anybody. You are this character. And he carried that with him throughout the rest of his career. Like, I'm not playing anybody. I am the dude. I am the whatever the hell his name is from Tron. I am all of these guys. And I love that.
That's so cool. I love that, man.
Yeah. So Thunderbolt and Lightfoot definitely high up on my list as well. And I want to knock out Harry and Tonto just so I can understand how the hell Art Carney beat these guys.
Yeah, and is it wrong, or are we just so in love, so used to being in love with all these other guys that we just don't know? We just haven't seen something that's amazing. I have a hard time believing that I mean, fuck. It's got to go to Nicholson or Pacino for me. I just have a hard time believing that something could be as great as those two performances. I think in any given year in Oscar history, Nicholson and Pacino, for those particular roles, they're going to be nominated at least. And most years they would probably win.
I really wish we had a Hepburn Streisand tie here and Nicholson and Pacino both took this. Because honestly, I don't want to pick favorites.
I mean, I personally, Nicholson's like borderline my favorite actor to ever live. So I mean, I like him more than Pacino personally, but that's just me. Nicholson is the fucking dude. He's just he does just crazy good stuff. His role from the year before, Last Detail, and then his role the year after where he wins for One Flew the Cuckoo's Nest. Like, it's just like, this guy's fucking untouchable, man. Like, he's so good. And then of course, we've always talked about him, how a lot of his best stuff isn't even nominated. Shining, he's amazing as the Joker in Batman 1989. He's just, he might be my favorite actor of all time. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue that. Jack's the fucking man. He's dynamite. But 70s Pacino is a force of its own.
Yeah. Truly.
And that same just unstoppable run. Godfather, Serpico, Godfather 2, Dog Day Afternoon. It just didn't stop.
Yeah. No, he's special. And fuck us. Dustin Hoffman. He's also in the 70s is like, what is this guy on right now? It's just crazy. This is a special time where people are influenced by the things of the past. And you can see even more influence now in these guys from this decade, from this era. So it's really cool.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's the seven. I enjoy every episode we do of this show, but when we get to tap into the 70s, there's something special. Like it feels different. It feels stronger. Like we're getting to be a part of something, like we're learning something. This is a very special decade of film. And I love getting to constantly spotlight it.
Yeah, me too, man. Me fucking too. There's nothing like it. At this, just for shits and giggles, at this ceremony, guess what wins best foreign language film?
I saw.
Yeah. Fellini.
Fucking Armor Cord.
Yeah, my shit. I love that movie. I would love to see that one and Day for Night go head to head. Hell yeah. Two fucking legends of European filmmaking.
Yeah, Fellini, I feel like, has that same ego that Godard has. Just doesn't give a fuck what people think. I'm making my vision. Truffaut just got it. He just understood what people cared about, what people wanted. He was able to express himself with cinema while also being accessible. And I respect the shit out of that. Like, he fucking got it. I know I've said that several times, but it's true. He got it.
Yeah, we got to keep watching more, man. In fact, let me look up. Another one of his movies was one foreign language film or was nominated, but he wasn't nominated. I'm going to look at that real quick, just because, like, I'm just curious. What else could we do of Truffaut's on the show? Yeah. It's the best foreign language film. Before we get to our awards, because I'm having too much fun with this. Too much fun with this group. Too much fun with these conversations. These people that are involved. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's called International Feature Film now. That's not going to be it though. I know there's like an actual list on Wikipedia.
While you're looking for that, I do want to point out, I looked through Truffaut's filmography and I saw he did an adaptation of Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, which I would love to see.
Yeah, I've heard that that's like one of his more mixed like mixed movies, like as far as critics go, reviews go. So I want to see it just to have a side.
Yeah, same. I've always wanted to read that. I'm familiar with the story, and I love the idea of it. So I definitely would like to see that.
All right, here we are. I love looking at this list, looking at these movies. Let's see if we can see Francois Truffaut's name again. Lots of Ingmar Bergman, lots of Fellini. There's Polanski, Knife in the Water, 1963. You like Knife in the Water?
I did not like Knife in the Water, but
I want to rewatch it.
I just thought, what is it?
Stolen Kisses, which is a part of the five. It was nominated for Best Foreign Language Film, lost to War and Peace. Yeah, I mean, yeah. At the 41st Academy Awards, so that's before Day for Night. There's Z. Good old Z, 1969. Yeah. I think that might be it, my friend. I think so.
Well, we could always do a proper episode on the 400 Blows, and then Stolen Kisses is an option too. So this is not the last we've seen of Francois Truffaut on this show.
Oh no, not by a long shot. Oh, here he is again. 1980, The Last Metro, 53rd Academy Awards, lost to Moscow Does Not Believe in Tears. I've heard that's a great one. Okay. Oh, and Akira Kurosawa is also in that group. Very cool. Very cool.
Shit, we should do an episode on that group of films. That sounds like a really loaded.
I'm fucking in. That's I would rather do a showdown with those movies than the 1980 movies that were, ordinary fucking people. Yeah.
You don't want to do a Robert Redford directed Timothy Hutton movie? You don't want to do that?
It's fine. It's fine. It's one of the more dull Best Picture winners for me. But I would love to fucking watch a Russian movie, a Hungarian movie, Japanese, French, and Spanish. Yeah, sign me up.
We've done the work. We can tackle some shit like that. Now I'm down for that. 100%.
Cool, Francois Truffaut. Hats off to you, man. I'm excited to give some awards out for this movie. Day for night, and figure out what really made it tick for both of us. So let's get down to it. We have the Tarantino Award for Best Quote. We've got the Ennio Morricone Award for Best Music Moment, Best Piece of Score or Soundtrack, whatever you want to shout out. We've got the Best Performance of the Movie, the Philip Seymour Hoffman. That's going to be a blast because this cast is just fucking incredible. And then we have the Roger Deakins Award for the Best Scene of the movie. So I'll let you take it away with your best quote, the Tarantino.
So I have two lines, both from Ferrand, Truffaut's character, the director. The first one is when Valentina Cortese is struggling to remember her lines, and she suggests using numbers for some reason, like that would ever fly. Like, just let me say numbers. And he's trying to be helpful. He's trying to be to work with her, but he has this one little moment of condescension where he says, "Here in France, we have to say the lines."
Yeah,
I'm laughing my ass off. I'm like, all right, he's pissed.
Yeah, I love that. It's great.
And then another one from Ferrand when they're putting the fireplace together for the scene, and he says, "Yeah, people used to stare at fires. Now they watch TV. We need to see moving images, especially after dinner." I just thought that was profound.
Me too, man. I loved that. The flickering fire, flickering images, like so cool. Like, I don't know. It might be just like an on the nose type quote, but it is fucking. It made me laugh. It made me smile, and it made me think like, oh yeah, I literally have to watch movies at night. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I am one of those people.
I love that. I love the constant references to filmmaking, the way he looks at. There was a line where he talks about like the director just thinks he knows everything, and sometimes he's right. Some line like that. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like that. And then
that's mine.
Well, beautiful. All right, show me what you got.
That's mine. Yeah, that's he says again, Truffaut's character, director Ferran, he says, "What is a film director? A man who's asked questions about everything. Sometimes he knows the answers."
Perfect. Beautiful. I love it. I didn't pick that because I was pretty sure you were going to pick that.
Yeah, I love that line. It was between that one and then the one from Alexandra when he says, "In 80 movies, I've died 24 times, electrocuted twice, hanged twice. I've been knifed, committed suicide, died in accidents, but never a natural death. Anyway, I don't think death is natural."
That's creepy considering what happened.
Fucking hell, man. Yeah. And you're like, oh, wait, I love that character, man. He's wonderful. He's kind of like this older gentleman, this veteran who's on set. And, he has the most brutal ending in the whole movie. So just fucking crazy. Yeah, there's so many good, just pop, pop, pop. An actress who won't appear in a bathing suit is ludicrous. It's so good. This screenplay is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. I was impressed. At first I was like, wait, so they're making I thought I watched this on YouTube. There was a really decent copy on YouTube, and it was it had the French title. And I thought for a second, like, am I watching a documentary about Day for Night? Like, I had for a second, I'm like,
yeah,
is this about? And then I looked up a plot synopsis, and I'm like, oh no, they're on a movie set. Okay, this is the right one.
Yeah, it's his movie about making movies, and it seems like if you have a certain ego that goes to a certain place, at some point you have to make a movie like this. You have to give your hand at it. Like Tarantino clearly was like, I'm gonna make my movie about movies, and I'm gonna pay homage to the things I love. I'm also gonna have add my style. I'm gonna do my thing, and there's something just beautiful about that. There's something really, really sweet about that kind of sentiment that I respect a lot.
Yeah, PTA's done it twice now.
Yeah, PTA, quite frankly, will never stop putting little bits about, in Boogie Nights, I mean, he's, making a movie about people making porn. And in that movie, one of my favorite lines from one of my favorite bits from that movie is when they first get Mark Wahlberg's character, Eddie Adams, to that diner after Roller Girl like blows him in the back by the kitchen, by the sink, by the dish pit. And then he's like, "Hey, you remember Roller Girl? Come on." And they go to the diner, and he explains, films are expensive. You have to buy the film. You have to pay the crew. You have to get microphones. You have to get actors, And he breaks down like what it means to do this. And then throughout the movie, they show you how hard it is to do it. And yeah. it's so cool when a director just says, "Fuck it, I'm going to go ahead and make something about what I do." And while that could be, it can straddle the line of being pretentious. If you do it the right way and you have a little bit of respect, it can be a masterpiece.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best, I think general pieces of advice you get as a writer is write what you know. And when you know movies, it's old hat.
Do it. Yeah. Yeah. God, I love it. Day for Night. It's awesome. Cool screenplay. There's a lot, I like are women magic, being asked over and over. I think that's a hilarious bit. I like when Alphonse also says, "I'm sure Ferran is wrong. Life is more important than films." I love that line.
Oh, yeah. I love that they're basically playing themselves. He's playing Truffaut. He's playing the kid who played Antoine. Like, you can tell they've been together for a long time. It's nice. It's cool.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah. Hey, Alphonse, I found his character to be really annoying, but also extremely relatable at times. And I love how he's constantly like, if they have any downtime on set, he's like, "I'm gonna go to the movies." Like, that would be me. That would totally be me. He's like, "We're in Nice. Like, why wouldn't I? We're in a city that has 37 motherfucking theaters. Why wouldn't I go to the theater?"
I love that. I was thinking of you the whole time when he was like, his girlfriend's like, "Why don't we go out to a nice restaurant?" He's like, "Restaurant? There's 37 movie theaters in this place. Like, why wouldn't we do that?"
Yeah, we're in a gorgeous seaside town in fucking France. Like, what? Come on, let's go see some films. Let's check it out. Really cool. Oh, yeah. I also love the bit in 400 Blows when they go to the theater as a family and they start talking about the movie after in the car. And he's like, the dad's like, whatever, he's like, it wasn't that entertaining. And the mom's like, well, it had depth, It's like, I've had these conversations. I love it. I fucking love it so much.
Well, it just shows me that these conversations have been going on since film began. We're just, a small part of it. And I love that.
Yes. And understanding that you have importance as a movie fan, as someone who has a contribution. It's small, but it's important to like actually give a shit and give your opinion out there and care about what you're watching. Don't just let it wash over you. Actually embrace it. And I think directors, usually that's the beginning of their love for it, is learning that I have something to say about this. And then they take that vision to the next place. It's really cool. Love it.
Oh yeah. Let's go into our next award.
Morricone, music moment.
Yeah. This came about less because of the music and more about the scene itself. And it was when Ferrand is unpacking his books. The music starts playing and all these books start falling out of this package, all books about his influences. There's a book on Hitchcock, a book on Bergman, a book on Godard, you ungrateful shit, a book on Howard Hawks, like just all these guys who Truffaut has cited as influences for his career, and to give them all a shout out like that was really cool and really just proper. I liked that. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's my choice as well. That scene is breathtaking. And I read there's one historian who believes that scene is the most important scene of the film, because he says that not only is Godard placed on with those other directors, but he's placed in the middle of like his book is covered by the rest, and that Francois Truffaut was saying, "Your history, buddy." Like he was kind of knocking him in the balls, like, you're just another guy. You're just another one of these guys. And I love that. I think that is so cool. So I went back and rewatched the scene and I was like, this music's kind of jolly, kind of good, kind of fun, And then you're like, that interpretation is so cool. That's someone who watched the film with an intensely analytical mind and took that out of it. I completely missed that. I didn't think that about it. It might not even be true. But it is very cool that someone who's a historian and studies the shit out of this stuff was like, no, that was intentional, that Godard was not placed in a special spot. He was placed just with everybody else. You are like everybody else. You are no more important than Orson or Hawks or anyone. You're Jean-Luc Godard, and that's that.
I bet that was intentional. That sounds. Yeah. I mean, if you know this guy, if this is a guy you've known for a long time, not just like a name, but like a person who's been to your house for dinner, you've done stuff with them, you've hung out, you know him. I feel like you'd want to rub him the wrong way a little bit, just because of the shit he's been talking, probably the whole production, just being like, that doesn't seem right. Are you sure this is going to work out? Like, are you sure you're doing that right? Just shit like that. I'd be like, you know what? Fuck you, man. You're going in the middle.
Yeah. I think it's very cool. I'm really glad I saw that bit, and it caused it to almost become like my Deakins Award, because I was like, that's so genius. Not only I was enthralled by it when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is cool as shit. This director who's just like, I fucking love movies, and he just orders all these books while they have this 6-week gap to make this movie, and he's like gonna fill his spare time with reading about directors and movies. I love that.
That's the same shit we do. We buy up random films and they're like, oh, they're here. And then we embrace them. That's the shit we do. I was like, fuck, I get, this guy gets me.
Yeah. Even if I don't, you just got in the mail today. You got Punch Drunk Love and Paths of Glory, the Criterion Blu-rays, and you sent me the picture, and I was like, fuck yeah, like, that's awesome. I love both of those. I want to own both of them. And it might not mean that you watch them right away, but they're fucking there. They're fucking there.
Yeah, I just love that was the kind of guy he was too. Like he was, embracing everything he could find that was going to enhance his filmmaking vision. Just like these, everything we find enhances our show. It's fucking great. I felt a lot of connection to Truffaut.
Yeah, specifically through this movie, the 400 Blows was more like, wow, this is a really cool character study, really cool coming of age movie. Day for Night was like, this guy loves this shit as much as I do. and that's enough to kind of connect. And yeah, really cool scene. And again, great music. I couldn't find the name of that part of the score. It was hard for me to find a lot of information about the score. There is the one piece that plays over and over called Grand Chorale. And it's kind of that, it plays at the end of the movie. It plays somewhere in the middle of it. And it's really good. It's a really cool piece of score. But I was with you where I was kind of moved by that moment. The score is by Georges Delarue. I don't really know how to say it, but there's some good stuff in there. It's not the highlight of the movie, the score, but there's some good stuff.
Yeah, and as far as the French names go, we're Texas good old boys. Give us a break.
Oh yeah, I'm born in San Antonio. I say y'all. I say
we're trying.
I say thing. Yeah. I'm not good at pronouncing foreign names. Unless I really know who they are. Some soccer players I have nailed down, but movie people, no.
Just be glad you're not getting like Francois Truffet. All right, be happy you're not getting that.
Yeah, because there's those people out there. Yeah. All right, here we go. The Philip Seymour Hoffman Award. For you, who won the movie as far as performances go?
It was Truffaut as Ferran. I loved him basically playing himself, getting to see kind of the master at work here and how he corrals his crew, how he treats them all with respect, how he doesn't, he expresses to the actors like we need to get this done, but he doesn't like push them to anger or embarrassment. He's very patient with everybody, but also you get this sense of like this movie is collapsing under my feet the entire time. And I thought he handled that really well. Pulling double duty as a director and an actor is tough sometimes. And I thought he pulled it off very well. He was my pick.
Great pick. Yeah, I think that's probably the right answer, because if you look at the load he has to carry for, like you said, being writer, director, star of the movie. And not only just a star. Yeah, he's not just the star of a movie like Warren Beatty's the star of a movie. He's the star of the movie that's about movie making. And it's like there's lots of layers to it.
He's directing the movie and he's directing the fake movie.
Yeah. It's just a lot going on. I'm sure there were a lot of like sleepless nights where he was like, what the fuck is happening to me? My pick is our guy, our boy Jean-Pierre, who is now someone that's just 100% on my radar. I can't wait to watch more of his work. He plays Alphonse, the guy who's obsessed with going to the movies and is in love with someone, gets engaged like at the beginning of the film. She runs away with the stunt man. And he's like, fuck it, I give up acting. I don't even want to do this anymore. He's so impulsive and so ridiculous. And I thought the performance was just really, really, really good. Lots of skill involved. And it's interesting to see him in 400 Blows as Antoine. And 14 years later, the dude has the same mannerisms. The dude has this weird way of portraying someone that you kind of want to like punch in the face, but you're also like, I want to give him a hug and hang out. It's weird. I love performances like that. I love people who can do that. He's great. He's also great in the short I watched, Antoine and Colette. So yeah, he's on my radar.
Well, I just got the vibe that he's playing essentially the same character. I mean, he's playing somebody who clearly has a lot of hangups with love. He needs to feel connected to something. He needs that emotional connection or he feels lost. And how does that come about? From years of emotional neglect. And that's Antoine. But yeah, I thought he was good. His character's trajectory was so strange when he sleeps with Jacqueline Bisset and then calls her husband and is like, we're in love, let her go free. Like, what the fuck, man? What are you doing?
Yeah. I love that scene. He's like, I slept with her, we're in love, I set her free, goodbye. Yeah. and then immediately just everything goes to turmoil. And then he runs away from the set and he goes to ride fucking go-karts. Yes.
And that immediately made me think of Breaking Bad.
Yep.
And I know that wasn't an accident.
Oh no. Vince Gilligan definitely is a fan of the arts, a fan of cinema, and lets that shit shine through his show Breaking Bad. Yeah.
When he's like, hey, I got this job offer in Japan. Do you think I should take it? It's 13,000 miles away from my problems. I think I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved that, dude. Such an actor. Yeah. Like, fuck it. I got to keep moving. Yeah. He was great. Great in this movie. But there's a few other people that are competing for this award, for the PSH. It's a great cast. There's no real weak link for me.
No, it all works. It all works. And I think that's because Truffaut just knew what he was doing on all facets. This guy was the right kind of control freak.
Yeah, 100%. I really liked Jacqueline Bisset as Julie Baker. Thought she was great. I liked Alexandra Stewart as Stacy, the pregnant actress. She was great. Jean-Pierre Amont as Alexandra was amazing. Everybody did a great job.
Oh yeah. So that takes us to the Deacons.
Here we go. The Deacons. This is tough. What do you got?
I picked this because it reminded me so much of Whiplash. And it is the scene where Severine cannot fucking get it right. She's just constantly like flubbing her lines, opening the wrong door, and then getting super upset. Like, they're all looking at me. It's not my fault. Shit's going wrong right now. And around the whole time, it's like, it's all right. We'll get it right. We'll do it tomorrow. Everyone get off the set. We don't need everybody right now. Just handling it like a pro. And she just keeps flubbing it and getting more agitated about it. And just, it never blows up because that's not the kind of filmmaker he is. But it just felt like everyone was super tense. Everyone was pissed. Everyone was just like, God damn it, lady, figure your shit out. And it reminded me of Whiplash when he's just, not my tempo, just a little bit right there. This could have gone either way,
Yeah, for sure. I love this scene. I love when she says, well, I need cue cards, so they put them up on different areas of the set. I love the door, opening the wrong door like 5 times in a row. And she's like, oh, I can't get it. And it's just, is playing drunk so well. This is, if she would have won the Oscar, because she was the only one nominated for a performance, if she would have won, that's the clip they would have played on the montage. That's the clip. She just does something. I think it's at the right time in the film too, where you need something to kind of really, really pull you into why should I care about this particular movie, about this production. And she's the one who does that heavy lifting. You've been acting very peculiar, Alexandra. All of that stuff is really, really good. And that's a great pick, man. Great pick. I definitely thought about it, but I couldn't escape that homage that he kept paying homage to filmmakers of the past. I couldn't escape those scenes specifically. And there's a few times where it cuts to him while he's trying to sleep, Francois. And he's laying on the bed and he's kind of tossing and turning. And my Deacons goes to one of those moments when he's tossing and turning, and you can see the lights that say cinema, 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 like all over the place. And then it cuts back to when he's a kid, and it's black and white, and he's running to the theater, and he steals all those Citizen Kane prints. I paused it, and I had fucking chills. I was like, that's me. I can't handle this. I would totally steal something, even though that's not right. I'll be honest. I've stolen stuff before that something that was passionate to me, including things that I've had to deal with film. At this point in my life, I'm a little too old for that. And I realize now, when you pay money towards something, it's probably going to go to that cause. But when I was a kid, I very much had sticky fingers, and I understand what he's saying in that scene, where it all starts somewhere. This passion, this wild passion, all starts somewhere. And for him, it was these classics, it was something as huge and as classic as 1941 Citizen Kane, which is a film, of course, we love on this show. We covered a long time ago. And it just was a really, really special and kind of cute moment, but also filmed really well. When he's running up to the theater and he has the little cane that he's using to pull the board in, and then he steals every single print. It's like 20 Citizen Kane prints. And the way the camera cuts to him stacking them on top of each other, stack, stack, stack. And we see Charles Foster Kane over and over, over and over, over and over. And it's hitting home that this movie is very important to him. It means a lot to him. And I just see myself in that. And I think ultimately Francois is doing that with Day for Night. Whatever scene it is, at some point he's trying to speak to the cinephile in you. He's trying his hardest to reach your heart. And I love that. I almost started crying. I was like, this is so fucking cool. I just can't, my body, my heart was moving. I had goosebumps and I was like, I love this movie. And I can't wait to watch it again. You know, I'm so glad I own it. It's awesome. But there's a lot of scenes. I thought the last scene was amazing, where everybody goes away and the camera pans up over, you know, like kind of a bird's eye view. Great cinematography. Really, really good direction. I thought some of the stuff when they're actually filming, like the little kitten scene, I thought that was genius. When they have the one kitten that doesn't quite cooperate, and he's like, "You should have got 2 cats." Like, I swear, I didn't feed it for 3 days. You know, I loved all that stuff. I thought it was incredibly entertaining, and this movie's a 9 out of 10 for me. I love it.
It's an 8 for me. I knew you were going to pick the Citizen Kane bit. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, that's Austin's pick.
Yeah. So cool. So cool.
Beautiful. Yeah. It's incredibly liberating and satisfying when you find out that these guys aren't, you know, legends on a pedestal. They're people who saw, you know, Citizen Kane and were like, I want to do shit like that. And then they did. And that is freeing. It makes me think like I could do something like that. You know, if Francois Truffaut is just a film buff and I'm just a film buff, maybe I can make something too. And it's a great feeling to have.
Yeah. That obsession, like that obsession can go somewhere, and that obsession can turn into something. And that obsession is important because it's yours. Like that. I love that. I love that you don't have to really think too hard about this movie. Like it's telling you what it's trying to say. And if you really, I truly believe if you really love movies and its history, like you have to see this movie. You have to.
Yeah, I'm so happy I don't have a language barrier problem. I'm so happy I don't have a problem with subtitles or black and white movies, that I can just turn anything on and just try to enjoy it. I feel bad for people who have that problem.
Oh yeah, sad. It's really, really, really fucking sad. Yeah, because if you do have a problem, then you know we're doing a really old movie next week, and if you have that problem, you should probably hit the fucking road. You know, this movie's from 1948. Before we get to that, on Monday tomorrow, really, really excited for this episode where Connor and Caleb will be talking about their most anticipated movies of 2022. So, hopefully going into 2022, there's less pushback and less different dates. You can kind of pinpoint, this is what I want to see in the year, and let's talk about it. So are y'all both doing 10 or are y'all doing 5 and 5?
We're for this one, we're doing 10. We're going to be doing something similar the following week where we'll probably just do 5. But right now it's going to be our 10 personal most anticipated films of 2022. It's a lot more narrowed down because there's no runoff from last year. Not a lot anyway. Last year was super overstuffed in terms of release. A lot calmer this year. And since nothing's really coming out in January besides Scream, we figured we'd have some fun for the rest of the month.
There you go. That's awesome. I'm excited to listen to that and kind of see what's on y'all's radar. And then on Wednesday, Filmgasm will be doing Starship Troopers. I know that's something very special to you.
Yeah, this is my pick on the cycle. The way we do it, if you listen to this show, I just assume you listen to all of them, but that might not be true. On Filmgasm, we do a cycle. All 14 members pick one movie per cycle, and then the 5th is up to our book of Filmgasm, which is just a list of random episodes. So this week is my pick, Starship Troopers. Very excited. One of my all-time favorites. A insanely ridiculous, over-the-top epic, and it's going to be very fun.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Very cool. And then the 4th episode of Beyond the Bad's existence. Very excited for this one. Yeah, Sean William Scott and Jessica Simpson. Yeah, gonna be great. The Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah. Caleb is in charge of that show. Fridays Beyond the Bad. and his selection has been just like a wide variety of the worst films in history, and I believe he chose this to coincide with the new Jackass movie. Because Johnny Knoxville stars in this as one of the Duke boys. And this film was eviscerated upon release, as is every other movie we cover on this show. So I'm excited to watch this piece of shit and mock it for an hour and a half.
Hell yeah, man. That's going to be cool. Yeah. A film from a different time. I'll say that. And then finally next week on this show on Oscar Sunday, 1948, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. That'll be on January 30th. My birthday's on the 31st. So this is my personal pick for Oscar Sunday. I pick all of them, but I wanted to do something that's that we've talked about on the show plenty of times, that clearly speaks to both of us, and a movie that rattled me hard the first time I saw it, way back when we did episode, I want to say 15 or 16 of this podcast on Hamlet from 1948, which won Best Picture. It beat Treasure of the Sierra Madre, and I just think that's absolutely bonkers, and it's an absolute classic and a movie that's influenced so much of what we love, really what we all love here at Filmgasm. So I'm very, very excited. But thanks for being with us here today. I had a lot of fun. It's fun to do these foreign films that we haven't really seen, that we can kind of just get a whole new perspective. And I think that's what we got today. Talking about Truffaut, I think we found a filmmaker that we both want to, start studying more. And that's exciting. It's really exciting. So thanks for being with us. Hopefully you are following us on Instagram, Twitter at Filmgasm. You can even check us out on Facebook. We upload all of our, reviews, podcasts on there. So, if you feel like it, get on the socials. That's what everybody does these days. So get on it at Filmgasm. Without further ado, signing off, Austin Johnson. We'll see you guys later.